Today, we're going to go over the top reasons that beginner barbers struggle with fading and achieving sharp lineups. Before we get into it, if you're new to this channel and want to learn how to cut new hairstyles, or if you want to learn anything pertaining to barbering, hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. Also, follow the Barber Style Directory on Facebook and Instagram. That's at Barber Style Directory. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 1. You're not using a systematic approach to your haircuts. No matter what haircut you're doing, you need to follow a system. You wouldn't just jump in the ocean if you couldn't swim, right? So why would you just jump into a haircut without knowing what you're doing or not following the system? I know in the fading tutorials that I put out, a lot of you may get bored with the steps, but if you watch the videos, you will see that I follow a method with every single haircut tutorial that I put out. Now let's move on to lineups. Now I know to many beginner barbers, the lineup is the most intimidating part of a haircut. And I can agree with you. When I was first beginning to learn how to cut, the lineup will always intimidate me. When you're lining someone up, you always want to start by using reference points. Just imagine a cross going down the center of their face. This is what I mean when I say points of reference. So you have, these are your 3 typical head shapes. You have the straight, when the line is just straight across. You have the U or the McDonald's shape, whatever you want to call it, the arch, whatever you want to call it. And then you have the rounded hairline. But no matter which head shape, you always want to take the same approach. These will be your main points of reference. The center, the corners, and then these points right here. Now some people, like for example, in this with this hair type, some people get arches on the side, but either way, you still want these to be as identical as possible. So especially on this type, when they get the arches on the side, you want to use, this will be another reference point. So not only will you have the center, the corners, but you'll also have the arches as reference points. Now this second reason ties directly into the first reason that I just gave you. And the second reason you're struggling is because you're not breaking the haircut down into smaller steps. So if you're doing a full haircut, I'm talking fade, you're cutting the top down, doing a beard lineup, break it down. So for example, start by cutting the hair down first. Then start by making your guidelines. Then start the fadings, and then you save the beard for last. So that will keep you from getting overwhelmed when you're looking at the bigger picture and you're like, oh my God, I have so much to do. But just start attacking the haircut one step at a time. Now, I believe my next point is the main reason that beginner barbers struggle with fading and getting sharp lineups. And that's because your clippers and trimmers are not properly set. Now, personally, I do not believe that any clipper or trimmer needs to be zero gapped. The term zero gap technically means that there is no gap in between the cutting blade and the steel blade. Now, if there is no gap between the cutting blade and the steel blade, if you put that on skin, it's going to cut the skin because it's too sharp. However, I tell people all the time, my clippers are not zero gap, but they are adjusted. That means there's a small gap, and I mean a small gap, because you still want them to cut sharp, but there's a small gap between the cutting blade and the steel blade. That way it doesn't cause any irritation or it doesn't cut the client. Usually the case with beginner barbers is their clippers are either set too sharp, meaning they're cutting their clients, or either they're too dull. The skin may whip up, it may turn red, or you could see, if they're too sharp, you could see irritation in the back of the neck. On the other hand, they're not set close enough, and you end up digging into the skin. Let's say if you're doing a lineup, you end up pressing down too hard on the skin, and you can still cut your client. Or the lineup won't be as crisp as you need it to. The cut will come out dull. To make it easier, there are supplements out there like this right here. This is my go-to. It's called the On The Money Blade Setter. You can get this off of Amazon for maybe 12 bucks. So this really helps me set my trimmers. And it, like I said, it just creates that small gap in between the cutting blade, and the steel blade. Now with the clippers, the reason you want your clippers to be set really well is because I see it all the time. I cannot tell you how many bowl cuts that I see. And that's not a bad thing. You get better with learning. But this guideline right here, this ball guideline, so many barbers struggle with getting that ball guideline out. Reason number 4, you're not visualizing how you want the outcome of the haircut to look before you even start the haircut. Now I promise you I'm not making this enough. I know you may be like, visualizing. Literally in the Milady Standard Barbering book, they talk about visualizing. So if you think I'm lying, crack open this book and you will find it. I can't remember what chapter it's on, but literally they talk about visualizing the haircut before you perform the service. Visualizing how you want the haircut to turn out will actually help you figure out the process to get there. The only thing you have to do is just follow the system of steps to get that type of haircut. And last but not least, reason number 5, you're not utilizing your mirror and or you have bad lighting. When you're fading, it's a very repetitious task and your eyes are constantly focused on the same thing. So your brain can easily get tired and your eyes can get drained as well. The mirror will help you, it will help your eyes refocus. So you'll see, oh, I didn't even see that. And then you can turn around, fade, look at the mirror one more time, and then if everything's good, then you can proceed on to the next side. Now, bad lighting will also cause you to leave dark spots in the fade, or you may miss certain hairs that you can't see. I don't recommend yellow light because yellow light, like I said, it tends to cast shadows. White light is closer to natural light, so it makes it really easy for you to see everything in front of you. So you definitely want to use that mirror to keep your eyes from getting fatigued, and you definitely want to have really good lighting. You can invest in ring lights, softbox lights, or even the garage lights, the long tube kind. There are many different options out there. If any of these reasons apply to you, tell me in the comments below and we can chat about it. If you're new to this channel and if you got something valuable out of this video, remember to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. Let me know what other topics you guys want to see, and I will see you all on the next video. Thanks for watching.